He died in 1977, leaving behind on 138 handwritten index cards.
More worn parts. I'll show you.
His wife, who once saved Lolita from the flames, declined. Now it's out from Buchholz's last word.
Clunk, clunk. See it? Dancing around.
One point from the fragments of a master. Vladimir Nabokov, the old.
What else is worn out here?
Laura. First, this new.
Wheel changer. No problemo. Surface rust. Griffiths asked me what a small block was and a big block was. Well, just American way of talking about stuff. 70! I've been patching this grill back together. Epoxy. Epoxy putty. What's a small block and what's a big block? Well, I guess a small block is smaller than a big block, and a big block is bigger than a small block. I have a poster somewhere that my brother got me. Camel driver. And it shows the Chevrolet small block engine. I got one buried back here. Right there. Can you tell? Anyways. Chevrolet! Junk. A Chevrolet small block is a 265, 283, 302, 307, 327, 350, 400 small block with the Siamese cooling ports. Then we have the 262, which came out in the Monza in 1975, 267, maybe 1981, 305, 383 stroker. They're all based on a smaller thin wall casting Chevy block that came out in 1955 with a cartridge oil filter until 1967, solid engine mounts in 55, 6, and 7, blah, 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 blah. Turbocharged. Cruise control. Hydro boost. Power brakes. Texas. The big block came out in 1965. Originally it was a 427 Mark IV mystery motor with canted porcupine heads and huge oval intake runners. And then in 65, Chevrolet introduced it for the 65 model year in late 60s. And actually introduced it in the spring of 65. Oh, this freaking junk. Gotta sell these tires. They introduced it in the spring of 65. It replaced the 409 porcupine head motor. No, the porcupine was a big block. The 409 W motor, that's right, had those weird looking valve covers, 4x4. The big block rat motor, thin wall casting, came out in early 65 as a 396, 425 horsepower. Then it was a 396, 375 horsepower, both with solid lifters. And then it increased to a 427. They had the 427 385, 390 horsepower, 400 horsepower with 3.2 barrels, 435 horsepower, L88, and the 454. And there's a truck version. I'm looking for things to show you here. Painted that. There's a truck version with a taller deck, which is like the Oldsmobiles. And that's a 366 or a 427, but that's a tall deck. Can't use it in the car. You could, I suppose, but it doesn't interchange because the engine's wider. Same as the Olds 455, which is wider than a 350. Same block, just taller. And there's the Pontiac. 287 maybe? 326, 350, 400, 455. They're all small blocks. And there's Cadillac with the thin walls. But anyways, I'm getting way too complicated. Way too complicated. Ford 221, 260, 289, 302, 351 Windsor. Got that bar. Where is it? Right there somewhere. But it's not attached to the engine. See the bar? Goes up. Get my flashlight. Ford 351 Windsor is half the size of 351 M400 Cleveland. Not bolted on. Stupid, huh? You can't see it. The bolt's missing. Probably broken off in the block. gear reduction starter. Oh! See that grease fitting? Right there? Take that out, and you can turn the universal joint. Kniff's asked me about this. You can turn the U-joint, turn the shaft, and you can actually stick the grease fitting up in there. Hold it up in place with a saw blade or a pair of needle nose, pointy nose pliers. You can actually grease that ball joint. Then you have to take that plug out because the drive shaft, the front axle shaft, hits it. Oh, I'm lying on the ground. And Moog, where was I? Oh yeah, Moog makes a problem solver for that purpose of greasing the upper ball joint if you're going to drive your K5 in Moscow instead of a Lada, darling. Moog, the problem solver. There we go. Got one right over here. Moog, the problem solver. There we go. See the grease fitting? That ball joint installs pointing upwards, and the grease fitting's in the side, not on the bottom where the axle hits it. Don't believe me, huh? Gotta get this wired up. Got the plugs. Gotta get an electric box. Oh, buried underneath here is a Dana 44. Oh, that's upside down. That's the lower ball joint. Anyhow, you know what I'm talking about. With this Moog, only Moog makes it, Moog problem solver ball joint, too late for Kniff's, he already changed his ball joints, you can grease the upper ball joint very easily. Why didn't GM do it? Because that's the way GM does things. Put a grease fitting on that takes an hour to grease while you dick around with the stupid saw blade and needle nose pliers and a tiny 10 millimeter or quarter-inch wrench. Mobile one. 38 degrees in here, which is cold. +4, +3. There's an Olds 307. Olds came in, boy, 330 and 64, 350, 400, 425, 455. The only difference is the 400 and the 425 and the 455, so-called big blocks, have a higher deck, which means the heads are farther apart. Corvairs only came one size, too small. And that's what she said to the sailor. Had a nice time in Florida. Sun's shining. We got work to do. I gotta go in the basement. Get my heating system fixed. Let's go check that out. Remember we put that in last year? Some of the folks have been watching me for a while. You hear this baby crank? Boy, I fixed this starter up, and she cranks real fast. I love it. Won't start, especially without a key. We don't need no stinking key. Don't look. Got the key hidden right here. There we go. Crank her up! Won't start because I didn't blow the plugs. I won. Oop. Got some combustion. I won a glow plug controller on eBay for 50 bucks. Brand new. Hope it fits. Glow plug controller. Door is locked. They sell for almost 100, 200 if you go to the Flap friendly local auto part. Flap. Friendly local auto parts. Flaps. That's an acronym. Fully charged. That's my bucket truck battery from California. The first vehicle I brought back from California. Battery tray. All sandblasted, ready to paint. This one came from a parts truck in Washington. Need some tow hooks. Gotta keep your voice down here. 80-gallon hot water tank ready to install. These tenants had no heat. Lights are on. These tenants had no heat last night. They have heat now? Yep. Spent a half an hour down here at 10:30. Oh yeah, look at that. 140, 150 degrees, which is 65, 68 degrees Celsius. Electric boiler. I got a spare one right there, which I'm going to probably sell. $1,000 for this, which is basically 4 electric hot water tank heating elements in a cast iron housing with a control panel. $1,000, $980. Replace this. Hear the air? I'll open up one of the valves. Should be more air. Oh yeah. Got a valve down here too. Foot valve. This allows me to bypass the boiler. Got valves everywhere. Webstone made in China. Watts made in China. B&K made in Italy, but China will put them out of business. Northern Italy, known for making ball valves. Those cast iron gizmos are flow regulators. There's a weight that stops the water from circulating through the boiler just from the heat, which is called thermosiphoning, which is what cooled the Model Ts. No water pump, if I have that right. Oop, stuff's happening. Made a lot of videos of this almost a year ago. Click. Got air in the system. What I have to do today, I can't bleed it. Oh yeah. Clang, crack. Yep. What I have to do is I have to change this water inlet pressure regulator. It's clogged after 13 years. I put it in 1996, probably. Date code 96, 39th week of 1996. And I've got to change it. Very simple, actually. It's got a coupler here, threaded connection there. Take me 10 minutes to change it, then I'll be able to full pressurize the system, quick fill, and get the air out, because, as you can hear, we have lots of air. That's it. Work in the sun a little bit. Big spool of copper wire, expensive. Corvair pressure plate. Heavy duty, 140 turbocharged. Got that boiler there also. That's it. We're out of time. Got my antique key machine. And half a tank of oil. Thanks for looking. I'm going to play the guitar down here. See you, Chris. Goodbye.